Anyone who's seen a sci-fi movie since flip phones were cool will understand the premise here. Because let's be honest, at some point in the last few years, you've had the thought. That moment where politics gets so absurd, so exhausting, so cartoonishly ego-driven that you don't even argue anymore. You just sit there and think, what if we just unplug this guy from reality? No rallies, no microphones, no late-night social media meltdowns typed in all caps like the keyboard owes him money. Just jack him in, drop him into a custom-built simulation where he's the undisputed ruler of Earth, Mars, or whatever's left of MySpace, and let him govern his little digital empire forever. Honestly, it sounds efficient. It sounds humane. It sounds like something Congress would accidentally pass if you called it a pilot program. Problem solved. Peace restored. The national blood pressure drops so fast WebMD files a missing persons report. Granted that it basically sounds like a deleted chapter from Gibson's Neuromancer, except instead of rogue AIs and elite hackers, it's just one guy yelling at a crowd that was programmed to cheer and applaud. And if you're truly being honest, there's a part of you that hears that idea and goes, yeah, I'd vote for that. But here's the uncomfortable question. If you could do that, would it actually fix anything? Because here's the problem. That fantasy only works if the person is the problem. And that's where it all falls apart. Because the problem isn't the guy. The problem is the factory that mass produces guys like that, ships them out nationwide, and then acts surprised when they go viral. And here's our reality check. We didn't trip and fall into this. We designed this. We took politics and turned it into professional wrestling with worse costumes and real consequences. Reality TV, except nobody ever gets voted off the island. And a personality contest where the grand prize is nuclear launch codes. And then we're shocked that the loudest human air horn wins? That's like building a rodeo, opening the gate, and then going, wait, why is there a bull? And why is it in charge? And why is it spreading its manure all over everything? Sir, dude, you sold tickets to the bull. Unfortunately, that's not a glitch. That's the system working exactly as it was designed. Or, more to the point, exactly as it has evolved. Because modern political incentives reward outrage over substance, charisma over competence, dominance over deliberation. So when someone shows up who is perfectly optimized for that environment, we wonder, how did this happen? As if we didn't build the arena ourselves, set the rules, and hand out Nielsen ratings for the most entertaining performance. And before anyone gets too comfortable pointing fingers, both of the establishment parties are running the same circus. Different clowns, same tent, same concession stand selling fear-based popcorn. Both will go on TV and say, this person is a threat to democracy, and then immediately follow it up with, donate $25 before midnight or they will win again. Oh, so he's dangerous, but also so incredibly useful for your quarterly fundraising goals. Got it. That's not opposition. That's a codependent relationship with a shared bank account. The old parties don't want to fix the system because they farm it. And why? Because outrage is profitable. Because fear is addictive and people want their fix. And because nothing else drives engagement like a political villain that you can put on a t-shirt. So even when they oppose the person, they protect the incentives. That's not politics anymore. It's emotional agriculture. Plant outrage, water it with fear, harvest the donations, and repeat until the republic collapses. And if you think this is just a DC problem, come on, this is Texas. We've got primaries with turnout so low, you could host them at a Buc-ee's between the beef jerky aisle and the bathroom hallway and still have room for a square dance. We've got districts like mine that are so safe the general election is basically a ceremonial event, like clicking the I agree button on the terms and conditions update. So what actually decides political success? Well, in the current environment, it's not nuance or competence, it's who can yell louder, who can sound tougher, and who can turn a political issue into a Facebook comment section with a campaign budget. So incumbents all over Texas, congratulations, because you didn't really win over your district, you just won a very aggressive group chat with a flag emoji. But here's the part that should actually worry you. The system doesn't just tolerate these personalities anymore, it needs them. Because when politics becomes a spectacle, you need performers. And then there's the Constitution, remember that thing? Which was designed and written exactly for the opposite. That whole checks and balances thing, that only works if the institutions are stronger than the individuals. The whole idea was ambition counteracting ambition inside stable institutions. Not let's hold our breath and cross our fingers and hope that the next leader at least has a basic relationship with reality. Right now, we're stress testing that assumption like it's a clearance item. Hey, how much pressure can this thing take before it snaps? That's not a governing philosophy. That's a hostage situation with a roulette wheel. Place your bets. Place your bets. So yeah, go ahead, plug him into the simulation. Make him the emperor of his digital universe. Give him his golden throne, a cheering digital crowd, maybe a world's greatest leader sash, and a soundtrack lifted from a Wagner opera for good measure. Let him sign executive orders for imaginary galaxies. Let him rule forever in 4K high-definition glory with zero consequences. Fantastic. Now what? Because back here, in reality, the system that created him is still running. Same incentives, same media machine, same voter dynamics. And it's already casting the sequel. Because in this system, you don't get fewer of these types of personalities. You just get better versions. More optimized, more viral, more addictive. Like a software update, but for chaos. And as appealing as this digital fantasy might be, you don't fix this by removing one player. You fix it by redesigning the game so that wackos like this stop winning regardless of their face. Unfortunately, that's far less sexy. There's no sci-fi montage, no dramatic unplugging scene, no slow clap from humanity. Just structural reform. Break the duopoly incentive structure. Make elections competitive again. Stop rewarding outrage politics like it's a job skill. And build systems where boring competence can actually beat viral insanity. Yeah, I know, boring competence. Not exactly a campaign slogan that you can chant at a rally. But you know what boring competence actually is? Stable, functional, and free, both in a liberty and monetary sense. Because if your long-term plan is, let's just hope the next one isn't as insane, that's not governance. That's gambling. It's pulling the lever, watching the lights spin, and praying that democracy doesn't hit the 777s of crazy again. That's not a republic. That's a slot machine. And the worst part? The House isn't some shadowy villain. The House is the system we keep refusing to fix, and it wins every single time.